the value of this gram equivalent for different salt acids, bases are different. I am citing some example. Let's suppose I have this like sodium hydroxide. So you have to calculate the molar mass of sodium hydroxide. So this molar mass, molecular mass of sodium hydroxide is 40 gram. So this molecular mass, molar mass of sodium hydroxide is 40 gram. And if its equivalent, what is its equivalent mass? So equivalent mass of sodium hydroxide is also 40 because this equivalent mass, the number of replaceable OH minus ion this sodium hydroxide is 1, and therefore equivalent mass is equal to this molar mass and divided by this number of replaceable OH minus ion. So number of OH minus ion, whatever is displaced from the sodium hydroxide. So here the value is 1, therefore equivalent mass of sodium hydroxide is also 40 gram. So equivalent gram equivalent of solute is decided by this equivalent mass, and therefore here we can write now mass of solute. What solute is present there into positive divided by equivalent mass, equivalent rate, equivalent mass of solute into volume of solution in milliliter. So this is your logarithm. For acid, suppose we have another example of acid, it's sulfuric acid. Its molar mass, its molecular mass is 98 gram. Is 98. The replaceable hydrogen ion, H plus ion is 2, and therefore equivalent mass of sulfuric acid is equal to 98. That must be divided by 2, and so it's 49 gram. So that is difference. If we consider also nitric acid, let nitric acid formula is your HNO3. So for nitric acid, the molar mass is HNO3. The molar mass is 63 gram. Its equivalent mass is also 63 gram. Because the number of replaceable H plus ion is 1. So equivalent mass here is molar mass divided by acidity divided by basicity. Acidity for base and basicity for acid. Here the basicity of nitric acid is 1, and therefore equivalent mass is 63. But in case of sulfuric acid, its basicity is 2. Means the number of replaceable H plus ion is 2, and that's why its equivalent mass is 49 gram, that is 98 divided by 2. In this case of sodium hydroxide, its acidity is 1, means number of replaceable OH minus ion is 1, and therefore equivalent mass and molecular mass of sodium hydroxide are equal, that is 40 gram each case. Right? Now, I would like to convey one question which is found in your NCERT book, that is page number 38. You might go through that question. See, calculate the molarity of solution containing 5 gram. I am writing another question. On this basis, I am writing another question which is discussed, which is solved in your NCERT book in page number 36. So I would like to ask you calculate the molarity. Calculate the molarity of sodium hydroxide solution in your solution in which 5 is dissolved in 5 gram is dissolved in 250 milliliter water. So that is a question from my side, and you have to solve the NCERT question which is already discussed in page number 38. So whatever I have written here, calculate the molarity of sodium hydroxide solution in which 5 gram of sodium hydroxide is dissolved in 250 milliliter of water. So volume of solvent. So here is volume of 5 gram of 5 gram dissolved in 250 milliliter solution. Then I write in place of water, I write solution because the volume of solution is taken in molarity. So this volume of solution is 250 milliliter. Mass of solute. So mass of sodium hydroxide is solute. So mass of sodium hydroxide is 5 gram. The molar mass of sodium hydroxide I have written just before, that is your 40 gram. So this molar mass of sodium hydroxide is 40 gram. So now write the definition of this molarity is the mass of solute. So mass of sodium hydroxide into 1000 and divided by molar mass of sodium hydroxide into volume of solution. So volume of solution, and that's equal to 5 into 1000 and divided by molar mass is 40 into 250. So now we have to solve it out, right? Now from that I would like to start another topic, that is solubility. How you define solubility? Solubility is defined for solubility. For a saturated solution, if I suppose I would like to ask you, okay, what is solubility? So first we have to know that solubility is of solute, not of solvent. The solubility is for solute. So what is solubility? Solubility is the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in specified amount of solvent at different temperature. So right, you all know, but I told you the solubility is find out of solute. So solubility of solute in solution is defined as the maximum quantity of solute that can be dissolved in specified amount of solvent at different temperature, at specific temperature. So the topic for that is your solubility. What is solubility? You define yourself, but I told you solubility is of solute, not of solvent. So solubility of solute is its maximum quantity that can be dissolved. Suppose I have 1 liter of water. 1 liter of water here. The maximum quantity of solute, let's suppose we dissolve sugar. So whatsoever the maximum quantity of sugar that is dissolved in 1 liter of water what I have taken at different temperature T is defined in terms of solubility. So solubility. What I told you again, I have taken liter. 1 liter of water is filled in that liter, then maximum amount that can be dissolved in this solvent of sugar is dissolved. So this is the at different temperature. So this is the definition of solubility. But I told again I am asking you maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a specified amount of solvent at different temperature is called solubility. There are 3 factors on which the solubility of solute depend. 3 factors basically. So first factor is nature. So nature of solute and solvent. Nature of solute and solvent. Which type of nature? So nature of solute and solvent, number first. Second one is temperature. And third one is pressure. So third one is pressure. So what I know, the solubility of solute is decided by or is dependent upon 3 factors: nature of solute and solvent, temperature and pressure. The first one is nature of solute and solvent. A very simple formula is that. For this, I am not going to elaborate this one. The simple formula is like dissolved light. What does it mean? Like dissolved light means the polar solutes polar solutes are soluble in polar solvent. So that is a simple formula. The polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents and non-polar solutes are dissolved in non-polar solvent. So the simple formula for this nature of solute, the interaction should be of same type. This polar dissolved in polar solvent, non-polar solvent will dissolve in non-polar solvent. Because in same cases, in same polar solvents, polar solute and polar solvents have same interaction, therefore they are easily soluble in that. Right? Alcohols are soluble in water, although alcohol is not so polar. But that solubility is due to another factor, that is dealt with hydrogen bonding. So, one factor what I told you, the solubility of solute is dependent upon the nature of solute and nature of solvent. The simple formula is to write this outside. Means polar solutes are soluble in polar solvents and non-polar solutes are soluble in non-polar solvents. At the same time, I would like to explain, I would like to ask you, suppose when any guest come our house, especially in summer days, what we do? We normally used to carry in simple way 1 glass sherbet. What is sherbet? We dissolve some sugar in water, in glass of water. If we have lemon juice, lemon, then pour it again. So if we pour lemon in that case, it becomes ternary solution. If we have only sugar and water, that is your binary solution. So what we see, when you put the lemon juice in that glass of water, it spreads quickly. There is bonding. There is bonding in that case. So I mean to say that when any solute is dissolved in water, suppose when you make sherbet, the sugar is dissolved in that water. Sugar is dissolved in water, right? If sugar is dissolved in water, if you pour more quantity of sugar, what will happen? The process in which sugar is dissolved in the solvent, that is in water, that is your dissolution process. At the same time, if more solutes are dissolved, we say it is not soluble in that. No, that is wrong. What happens here? The particles which you are going to add extra is collide with the solute dissolved particle, and that is called the crystallization. So, at a condition of saturation means the solute particle, whatever dissolved in that, is called dissolution. When the dissolved solute and the extra solute particles collide together, that is called crystallization. A stage is reached at which both the processes become equal. Crystallization and this dissolution process become equal. At that case, the equilibrium state is there. At this equilibrium condition, what is the quantity of solute you have dissolved in that particular solvent is told to be saturated solution. So I would like to define you saturated solution. What is saturated solution? You already know in class 9. Saturated solution at different temperature if no more solute can be dissolved in a particular solvent. That is suppose. Again, I have this much quantity of some different quantity of water is there, water is solvent. Again sugar is dissolved. I am citing the example of again sugar this one. So again sugar is dissolved. Whatever you do, you put the sugar, if the particles of sugar is larger, you stir it again and again so that the sugar becomes dissolved. You dissolve the sugar so much that water can be dissolved, that water can be absorbed by the sugar particle. So if no more solute, no more sugar is dissolved in a specified quantity of water at different temperature, that is called your saturated solution. Normally, what happens? I am citing another example in this regard. You must have seen halwa का वीडियो जहाँ जिलेबी बनाता है, right? What is doing there? In larger pan, He pour water and sugar and then heat it regularly. What happens? Extra quantity of sugar is dissolved. So because temperature is rising, and so if temperature is rising, means the solubility of solute, solubility of sugar is increasing. In that case, the solution becomes supersaturated. So I am not talking about supersaturated solution, I am talking about what? Saturated solution. किसी एक डिफरेंट टेम्परेचर पे कितना क्वांटिटी आप सॉल्यूट का डिसॉल्व कर सकते हो स्पेसिफाइड अमाउंट ऑफ सॉल्वेंट में, दैट इज कॉल्ड सैचुरेटेड वाटर. एंड सैचुरेटेड कंडीशन कब होगा? जब हमने क्या बताया आपको कि दिस डिसोल्यूशन प्रोसेस becomes equal to whatsoever is crystallization. So crystallization, dissolution process बराबर होगा किसके बराबर होगा? Crystallization. Dissolution किसको बोल रहे हैं? कि solute is dissolved in solvent, and this dissolved solute collide with whatsoever collide with the undissolved solute. So that process is called crystallization. The stage at which this dissolution becomes equal to crystallization is called saturated water. Is called saturated water. And unsaturated we define if more solute can be dissolved at any temperature is called unsaturated solution. Suppose I am citing another example here. We used to carry waste. What is there? If we have good food items prepared there, we take more and more food. So they become saturated. Means no more requirement we have now. But in some ways what happens? The food what is prepared at waste is not going to be a waste. What happens? You carry it away, you throw it away. Right? That is generally happening in our mess almost daily. So that in case of unsaturated, what happens? What you do? You carry your nearby surrounding. So that is case of unsaturated. But if you are satisfied, you have good food according to your taste, then you take more and more, so you become satisfied. So there is a case of saturation, and in other case that is your unsaturation. So that is the first case, that nature of solute and solvent. Another factor is your temperature. The factor temperature will be defined, will be explained in terms of thermodynamics. In thermodynamics, we used to know what is it? In thermodynamics, so second topic is related to thermodynamics. The physical reactions, we know some reactions are physical, some are not physical. Physical reactions, that reaction is carried out automatically. Right? So for that, there are different conditions. So the most vital condition was that the value of this delta H. This delta H value will decide the feasibility of reaction. So feasibility. We also know if the value of delta H is negative, value of delta H is negative, the reaction will be exothermic in nature. I am writing only EXO. And delta H is positive, then the case will be endothermic. Right? The case will be endothermic. So what I told you, if this solubility, another factor, that is temperature, is defined in terms of thermodynamics, where in chapter equilibrium you also have discussed about de Generet principle. So what about the de Generet principle is, if the dissolution process delta H solution is negative, the process is exothermic, and if delta H solution is positive, the reaction will be endothermic. So rising the temperature will affect the solubility of solute. If it is case of solid solute, on increasing temperature, the solubility of solute will increase. On decreasing temperature, the solubility of solute will decrease. So only two words. If delta H is negative, reaction will be exothermic. Delta H solution will be positive, the reaction will be endothermic. In the case of dissolution, if the dissolution process, temperature will be raised, solubility will increase. Temperature is decreased, the solubility will reduce. Its solubility is directly proportional to temperature. Temperature increases, solubility increases, temperature decreases, solubility decreases. Number 4 factor is your pressure. in case of solid solute, it is hardly affected by pressure. It means if the solute is solid, there is no change in the solubility of solid solute on changing pressure. Okay, I think this is sufficient for you all for today. But my suggestion for you all, you must go through your NCERT books and solve the problems whatever I have dealt with today. And next day I will start on solubility of gas